Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my fellow Geminis. This is a special reading. I put a post out and just asked what sign felt like they really needed a special reading. And I got a lot of response. So, Scorpio was number one, which is already done. Some of you may connect with the Scorpio. That's why I'm saying that. I just have this feeling. But you were number two. So this is why I do that, to try to help you through these difficult times. I do want to remind you, because you're ruled by Mercury. I'm a Virgo sun, Gemini moon, so I'm doubly ruled by Mercury. That it is going direct, or it may have already gone direct, but we're still in a little bit of a shadow period. So for some of you, you may have had a little bit of a difficult time going through that energy. Venus, I believe, also, I think is a couple days after Mercury goes direct, then Venus goes direct. Don't quote me on this. But Venus in retrograde, we spoke about it last month, can bring back old lovers, old friends, doesn't have to be lovers, can bring back people, in your life that maybe you haven't seen in a while. Um, so some of you could definitely be confused over that. Whatever it may be, I hope, and my goal is to bring you as much clarity as I can today. So this is going to be for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Those intuitively guided always. I always leave my readings open to anyone who's just feeling it also. And the reason why is because I read through my spirit guides who I know connect to your guides. Whether you know that or not, I know that. Um, you could certainly be in love with the Gemini, platonically, romantically. I've told you a few times, I got to get their actual birth dates, but Sam's daughter-in-laws are both Geminis, but they are night and day. That's why you don't want to, let's say, like my daughter has had like a lot of bad luck with Aquarius in romance. She's a Scorpio. Um, but yet she keeps getting attracted to that sign. Um, Not this time though. So anyways, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because, well, I feel like we have to know that. Oh, and I'm saying that also because what I was saying about Sam's daughters or daughter-in-laws is they really are very, very, very different. Um, at least the way I pick it up. But I'm a great energy reader. I've been practicing for many, many years. Anyways, so I wanted to see who just needed that special reading. I want to remind you that your April reading is done. I will connect it for you in the comment section, and then I'll pin it. So if you want to watch it, you can just click right on it. Okay, Gemini, let's see what's going on. So I am going to use the major arcanas. Mother Mary will have the honor of opening our reading. We will use the Gilded Tarot to go deeper. And deep we go. And a deck that I just love for you, but I really felt called to it. And I do allow myself to feel called to certain decks. This one was calling your name. This is the Psychic Tarot. So let's slide everything over. And let's start with Mother Mary. I'm going to bring the lid down. All right. And everything is always pre-shuffled, but I like to give it a shuffle with you here also. I am not going to put a date on these. And the reason being is I feel like this is the type of reading that will find you, or you'll find it in your divine timing, in your perfect timing. So that's why I'm not going to put a date on it. I'll put the year. Okay. We have Father. My true Father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship, Father. And then we have integrity. I trust my ability to know what is true for me. I trust my ability to know what is true for me. That's your intuition. That's you trusting in your intuition. By the way, your intuition, I feel like, is how your spirit guides reach you a lot of the times. It's not the only way. There's many ways, but that's a major way. So the more that you're able to, well, trust your ability to know what is true for you, I feel like um, the better you will be, the better you will feel. I'm noticing how there is like this orb around the baby and Mother Mary. It's like you are blessed. You may not feel it, but you are blessed. And then Father. Interesting. I'm feeling a couple different things, but I feel like we should go to the cards of that because I am feeling a few different things, and it probably is um, what I'm feeling different people's stories. Okay, let's put Mother Mary away. Let's bring out the major arcanas. So last month, well, actually, for April's readings, I asked you all if you wanted me to continue using the major arcanas. Really, what I asked you if you felt that they brought real value into the reading. I do, but I wanted your perspective because they do add time to the reading. I don't mind, and I know the majority of you don't mind. But anyways, I got an overwhelming yes. So they shall stay. Okay, we have the Emperor. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. Every time I see the Emperor, I want to say that. Dun, 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 dun. Card of Aries. This is the father figure, by the way. Mother Mary talking about a father. First card comes out is the father figure. We have hello, lovers. Hello, Gemini's major arcana. The meaning of this card is a head over heart decision. You know, when I think about the Emperor, I think about spring. I think, or I feel the Emperor's job is to plant those seeds, but not just for oneself, for like the community. You know, I feel like the Emperor is like a leader of the people. Whether I do that for a living or it's just naturally my energy. But the Emperor, I feel like, is responsible for planting those seeds so that we can have a great harvest in the fall, so to speak. But then we go into the lovers. The meaning of that card's a head over heart decision. It does have an angel's influence over these two lovers. I love that your major arcana just showed. So let's see what's on the other side. What's on the other side of love? I also want to say though, the Emperor, some of you, because we are looking at head over heart decision, you know, I feel like this is talking about love, but I also feel for some of you, it could be projects, like projects that you want to bring to the world. I often feel like the Emperor is a business owner or a manager, can definitely manage people, but in a empathetic way. He is looking back, like he's looking over at Mother Mary. And then we have beautiful temperance, divine timing. So it makes me feel like some of you are waiting for something to come about. And, you know, when I see temperance, I feel like, number one, if there's worry about something, I can give that away. I can trust in divine because this really does speak about divine timing. But its first message is patience. And that's because temperance is busy. Temperance is making sure where you can just look at the image. Like she's mixing the loving waters of these two cups. Can it represent potential soulmate energy? It can. Especially sitting right next to the lovers. By the way, this card is Sagittarius. I don't know if I said that. So patience first, but it's because divine is doing divine work. But I love that she's looking right at you. Like this divinity I do it for you. In the most loving of ways. Okay. Let's bring in the major arcanas, and it'll tell us more. You know, the lovers I know is you. Temperance I know is for you. The only one I question, I don't really question, but I would like more clarity on the Emperor. You know, for some of you, it is a father figure. I just got a message that for some of you, you may have been in a relationship with, and this doesn't have to be current, but you may have found yourself maybe in multiple relationships um, where the person that you're with carries very similar energy to your father. Now, that can be good or they can be bad. I'm going to give you a quick example. You know, my father, he was my hero. We did everything together. Growing up, he played the guitar and I would sing. I mean, I have so many happy memories. However, there was a part of him that I also recognized, well, all of us children did, where he had quite the bad temper, um, and he did not treat my mother well. He was, I feel, abusive, at least verbally. So when I left the house, well, I left the house at 17 actually, but when I got married, I married someone just like my father, and he cheated right away. Well, my father also did a lot of cheating. So I'm only using my experiences because I do feel like that may have happened to some of you. But now that we know, we can do better. Or it's not even that we need to do better. Now that we know, we can read that energy pretty quickly. That's what I feel for you, Gemini. I feel like you are learning how to truly read energy. And boy, what a lifesaver that can be. Trust also what you feel, that initial instinct, because 99.9% of the time, it's right. It's guiding you in the right direction, whether that be away from someone or towards someone. But listen, I don't feel like this is just talking about love, because temperance, again, mixing those loving waters and mirroring the emperor. For some of you, again, if you are, like a business owner or you want to climb the ladder, I feel like this is the perfect time. Especially the plan is starting to go direct again. Just from April readings, like how positive they were for so many. And I did feel a lot of it was planetary energy. So, okay. I think I cut these. I'm not sure. I'm just going to cut them again. Never hurts. Okay. Maybe I was meant to cut them again. So I feel like that card wanted to come out. Power. This is the strength card. Number 8. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. That's not the whole saying, but it is the connection to divine. And we have divine here. This is about one taking a good hard look within oneself. Um, this is getting to know oneself, the good, the bad, the ugly. But really, if you look at the image, it's half man, half lion. So it's like this man has tamed the king of the jungle. I say man, but man or woman. You, you. Let's just say you. And, this does become your sense of power. This does become your courage. It does then give you opportunities to take these leaps of faith. You know what I mean? Especially when you know yourself. All the good, the bad, the ugly. What did I need to overcome? You know, some of you, again, it could be tied back to like, okay, maybe I like kept getting attracted to the same type of person over and over again, and I kept getting the same damn results. Look at that, the Three of Swords, just as I was speaking about that. But this is you overcoming that. 8, 9, 10, 11. Hmm. I'm just going to throw that out there because when I see there's certain cards that I look for if there's also a potential twin. So, every time I say that, I think to myself, like, we got to get rid of titles. And, I feel like there's higher vibrational love, there's lower vibrational love. Each teaches us something. Well, I feel like you definitely had your heart broken, but I feel like this is you now emerging out of that energy. Even if there's still a little sting, I don't feel like okay, well, I was just going to say, I don't feel like, um, like the energy could have been very stagnant, but I feel like now energy is changing. And it's like everything I'm saying, then that card comes out. So this is passion ignited after the Three of Swords. And how beautiful, the Strength card's not an easy energy because I really do have to know myself. If I want great love, I have to be able to give great love. If I want great opportunities to come my way, I got to be willing to, put myself out there, so to speak. But what I love is the Ace of Wands. You can see it's like cracking open her heart chakra and temperance right there. We have emotional withdrawal. Interesting, we have two eights mirroring each other. Then we have mental conflict, emotional loss under the Three of Swords. Some of you could have physically lost someone that you loved. Um, and I get it. And you may have taken some time to like be alone. And I get that also. It might have been the best thing you could have done instead of like moving too quickly. Because then we look at this eight. In this eight, it does say emotional withdrawal. But if you just look at the image, this person is open. First of all, this person is giving their worries like away. I love this person sitting at the water's edge. I feel like water is very healing, as is earth, But this person's like letting the tides wash their worries away. And when this person ultimately does, then they start heading towards that Nine of Cups, which is inner harmony. So it just feels like something may not have worked out. It put you in the Three of Swords energy, again, heartache. Um, Even if like someone has crossed over, It may have taken some time for you to, put yourself again back out in the world. You're definitely missing someone, but then you have mental conflict right there beside it. And mental conflict, usually you'll see this person wearing a mask. And it means they don't want to face what they need to face. And I feel the longer we wear this mask, bigger that problem seems. But then we take that mask off and we're like, oh, geez, what was I thinking? It's not nearly as bad as I thought. I also want to say that in the Five of Cups, five is always about change. Even the five and the three and eight, that is change. That's a new beginning. But the Five of Cups wants you to ask yourself, what am I focusing on? There is a lot of focus on what I feel what was. Again, in different there's different reasons why something is no longer. I feel like for some, you had someone cross over. But boy, I hope that you can feel that they are, yes, they left that human body, but not that spiritual being. And we are spiritual beings having human experiences. So keep that in mind if you've lost someone. And I've had a lot of loss in my life, but I now understand it completely different. But what I was going to say is this really does ask you to ask yourself, like, where is my focus? Well, because the Three of Swords is above it, that's where your focus has been. And there's no judgment. Nobody's judging you. It does make sense, right? But what happens in this Five of Cups when this person says, I'm no longer going to focus on the past. I'm not going to focus on what was, what's gone wrong. I'm going to start looking forward. Well, there's two cups. You can't see it in this image, but there's two cups behind this person. We have Temperance mixing the loving waters of two cups. Your heart chakra is being activated for a reason. This clearing you've been doing, this is probably why you need this reading, because I feel like you have been going through something. It does feel difficult, I'm not going to lie, but I do feel like you're coming to the end of that energy. Sometimes even when our hearts are broken, we still have to move forward, or we should try our best because we never know what lies out there. Could be a potential soulmate for some of you. Watch me get the soulmates next. Now that I said that, I probably won't, though. Quite the opposite. Okay, so Nine of Swords, and then the Seven of Swords. Well, that makes sense. So, I definitely feel like you've been dealing with someone in the past. It feels like in the past, because I feel like I feel like, I feel like you're overcoming. And that's what tells me that it's in the past. Could be the recent past. But I want to show you, or hopefully help you understand, that someone someone broke someone's heart through the energy of deception and envy. So, lower vibrational energy. Often I feel the Seven of Swords, someone acts this way because it's a lack of something within them. Their father could have been very difficult. And then they follow suit. The Seven of Swords is mirrored by this mental conflict. And then suffering in silence, the Nine of Swords. So, first of all, you need to know the meaning of that card, which is unnecessary worry. And I actually love this image of the Nine of Swords because I do feel like this person is putting it behind them. It's like they are on a mountaintop. They're looking out at the world. Her sword is down. I feel like her heart chakra's been activated. I feel like it turned your head. Like I feel like I was looking down and then my heart chakra gets activated and my head lifts up and I start looking out. This emotional withdrawal, I'm not going to say it's for everyone, but it looks like, I don't know, like, let me just put it this way. I hope you get over it very quickly. I hope that you look at the source because if this is someone that you loved, I want you to understand that if you weren't treated well, and it's hard to say this, or it could be maybe more hard for you to understand this, but I feel like in a way, I can't take it personally. Now, I know it's very personal, but why I say that is because I feel like this person just comes from a lack, maybe a lack of, um, well, I feel like giving, what's the word I'm looking for? Like speaking words of endearment, I feel would be very hard for this person. Or if they do speak them, do they really mean them? So I'm not, I know that it's hard. I see that. But as your friend and your spiritual advisor, I'm kind of happy that it's moving on. I'm not happy that you're sad, but I'm happy that this energy feels like it's coming to an end. That means, first of all, in that Five of Cups, change. There's two cups behind that. I could even see where some of you may have been so focused on someone. And listen, they were probably playing mind games with you. Doesn't mean they didn't love you. I just get this feeling of like I don't know how to show love. And I don't feel like you are their teacher. You know what I mean? Like these are things that they have to learn on their own. Each of us as souls came down here to experience different things. So, you know, when it's broken, it's broken. Can this be fixed? It's up to that person. But do I feel like this person, first of all, I don't feel like they realize, like, what do you mean? I need to fix myself. Okay, let's stop talking about that person. Recognition and reward. This is the Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. You know what I feel like, first of all, Gemini? I feel like you are coming around. This recognition and reward, first of all, I feel is your spiritual team recognizing what you've been through, how you are overcoming. Some of you, yes, you're still in the process, but I can tell you, I already feel like when the timing is right, your heart chakra is going to be activated. And listen, it could be for a few different things. One, I definitely feel love, but another can be really creating stability for yourself. This could be recognition in what you do for a living. But this really speaks about your individuality and how you should be proud of who you are. Your guides are proud of who you are. And, anything like, let's just say, of a lower vibration, our guides aren't looking at us like, What is she thinking? What is he thinking? They know that these are lessons. They know that these are stepping stones that ultimately bring us to, hopefully, our highest potential. But we have to recognize it in ourselves also. And that's really what the Three of Pentacles is. But it's also other people admiring you. Now, it could be in a craft, because in the Three of Pentacles, you know what I feel like? One of the best ways to get over heartache is to refocus the mind into something that brings you joy. Some of you, it could be your creativity. Some of you, I feel like music, but don't put on love songs. Put on like upbeat music that makes you want to move. Some of you go into the water. Releasing. That's really what it's about. Releasing the past. So, whatever this heart chakra and temperance has in mind, it can then enter. We have justice underneath that, balance. So, justice by cutting ties. You know, it just feels like someone just, it's interesting because I do feel like we're dealing with someone pretty difficult. Um, and I'm not going to say this person didn't love you. I feel like they did. But I also feel that there's so much growth that is needed. They do have the same potential as we do, but will they? I feel like that's yesterday's news. That's kind of what I feel like. I feel like this person is yesterday's news. Will I allow it? And, that Nine of Swords under your heart chakra being activated, I could see that. I could see fear, right? Like, what the hell? What's going on? Why am I feeling this way all of a sudden? Am I ready for love? Am I ready to put myself back out there? Some people feel like, as it relates to love, I get this a lot where people are like, I'm not very social. I don't go out. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't go out, like, let's say to nightclubs and stuff like that. Well, I don't feel like you have to. I feel like if this is meant to be, then you'll be guided to it. You know what I mean? Like how it happened for me. I was at home. I want to say also, I feel this sense of proudness of really what you have overcome and what you're still overcoming. But I feel like you have an eye to the sky, like you're not looking at the dark any longer, like that light. There's a crack of light, and I feel like you're starting to follow it. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel, the silver lining. Remember, there's always polar opposites. So this feels like I've been down. I've been down. The ebbs and flows of life, right? But when you're down, you will come back up. And that's exactly what I feel like temperance is helping you do. Lift you back up, but lift you higher than you probably have ever been. It's interesting. I'll see if you guys pick it up, but I feel like I've been saying the lyrics of a lot of different songs. Um, and I'm saying that because some of you may have musical abilities. like songwriting. I could definitely see that. I could see you sitting at the beach with a notebook and writing down lyrics of what this pain, what it felt like. I could see you like writing a story about this. But really what it's doing, it's helping you to release it at the same time. Okay. Another eight. The Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. This is also fast moving energy. And it's coming over in eight, which does represent a new beginning. But listen, you're standing in power. You're standing in knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and earthly knowledge. What I think about, I bring about. You got to think about that, right? Now, I do feel like a negative thought like takes a lot longer to reach divine's ears than a positive thought. It's like a positive thought just goes right through the universe, no problem. No obstacles, no challenges. And it helps you to manifest that back. So I say this a lot, but you do want to think about your own energy. You do want to think about what you're putting out, into the universe. Again, zero judgment. And when the timing is right for you, the time will be right. Like, I feel this sense of like, I don't want to rush you because these are your thoughts. This is your intentions. So let's see what you're trying to bring about. Hello, Temperance again. Interesting. And then the tower over passion ignited. Temperance is looking right over at that tower. You know, I say this all the time, but I feel it. I feel like someone's fallen from grace. Someone's fallen from your grace. And then we have the Page of Swords over. Interesting. The Eight of Cups. I'll tell you why I feel like it's interesting. The first thing I picked up, um, this is why I have a hard time teaching tarot because sometimes it's got nothing to do with the card, it's the energy. But I do feel this is talking about someone who, well, they just feel immature. It's like someone who did not grow up. Someone who, like, their thoughts, their communication, all of that, I feel like remained back. I just don't feel like much evolution. And it is interesting how justice is right below this Three of Pentacles. First and foremost, as it relates to love, with Temperance here twice, Three of Pentacles really is a beautiful energy because it speaks about your individuality. But this is someone else recognizing that and loving that, right? It's like there's nothing you need to. I'm not going to say that we can't continue to better ourselves and that, but really, I feel like what this is saying is, well, I feel like first you were with someone who didn't appreciate your individuality. Maybe they wanted you to be more like them, almost like trying to change you, where they're the ones who really needed to change. But I do feel like you've realized that, or you are realizing that. Temperance now on both sides of the tower here. So do I feel like the tower was meant to happen? I do. Especially if you were connected to love of a lower vibration and it just doesn't change. It didn't change. Do I think it will change? I don't. Because I feel like this person has to first come to their own realizations of, and I feel like the day will come. But honestly, I feel like I'm going to be an older woman or an older man before that time comes. It's almost like the beginning of a narcissist. And I hope you're not around when it becomes a full blown narcissist. Some of you could literally be saying to someone, this is it, done, I'm moving on. I found myself. I know my importance in the world. I know who I am. Listen, if nothing else, if you're having a hard time loving yourself, then let your guides show you that love. Let the angels wrap you in warm hugs. You know what I mean? Like there's so much divine love for you, and it is pure. It's as pure can be. So, with temperance here now twice, that is talking about divine timing. She is looking over to Tower. So, part of me feels like for some of you, it could be temperance waiting on you to cut ties so that you can feel more balanced, be more balanced, and evolve. And then that feels like the right time. Again, I feel like some of you have taken time away, almost like the hermit. We're in the year of the hermit. And by the way, that means this is the final year of a 9-year cycle. We really do want to think about like next year is the opening of the next 9 years. I want to know what I want to bring along and what I do not want to bring along. How do I want my life to look for the next 9 years? Do I want deception and envy part of that? I already know the answer is no. So, the tower showing, I feel like it's really for your benefit. Beautiful. The chariot. So I feel like there goes that blindfold. You're taking it off. Card of Cancer. Chariot, it is about balance, much like justice, but it is the balance of the feminine and the masculine within ourselves, the light and the dark. We all carry it. It's just knowing when to use it and when to not. But the chariot represents unlimited potential. The chariot is driven by your seeds of intention. Well, here you are, right? Putting out, I said seeds, I meant your intentions. Here you are putting intentions out there. And it looks like they're coming back. Some of you could be a literal car. Like maybe I just didn't have a vehicle. Four of Cups. Discontentment, boredom in one's emotional life. Doesn't feel like, it's not about your whole life. It's the emotional part of it. Yet in the Four of Cups, there is a cup coming in. It's coming right under Temperance. It's coming right over that Five of Cups. And the reason I get excited with that is because when I'm no longer focusing on, again, what I have lost, and I start thinking about what's yet to be gained, this cup comes in. It needs your spiritual discernment. So, and it's always will put the ball in your court. You can say yes, you can say no. But with Temperance ushering this in, like, Mm-mm-mm. I don't think I'm gonna say no. That's the Knight of Wands. Passion rushing in. Fast moving knight. Over the Nine of Swords. First of all, think about that. Because if I'm in this state of worry, and again, what I'm worrying about are things that I cannot control. So it is a waste of worry because you can't control them anyway. So this fast moving energy, it's funny how I said I thought slow or a negative thought takes so much longer to reach divine. Well, now it feels like it's actually speeding it up. I feel like when you change perspectives, everything changes. I feel like this could be someone who's literally going to sweep you off your feet. Don't forget, your heart chakra is being activated for a reason. And then having the lovers with temperance twice. It's almost like she's getting ready for two soulmates to come together. Neither may know that, and I actually feel like they probably don't. It's like meeting someone out of the blue. I feel like you're accepting that cup. I feel like very quickly passion is ignited. We know that because that's what the Ace of Wands stands for, but it's also action oriented, so it does need your action. Again, maybe it's just simply, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to step into it. I don't have to say, oh, you will be my forever. I'm going to step into it and just feel it. See how it feels. 7 of Cups over the 7 of Swords. Wow. That kind of sucks. And I'll tell you why. Because, and you know what? I do so many readings um, that I started to know, I notice patterns. Um, I've always noticed patterns, but I could see this as you are evolving, potentially finding new love. You know, Venus has not gone direct yet. So I could see someone of the past trying to make a repeat appearance. I see you questioning. But it's interesting because I feel like someone else is being introduced into your life, and this is of the light. It almost feels like one final test. Will she or won't she? Will he or won't he? I feel like it very quickly you will. So let's put it this way. I feel like there's new love coming in the door. But as this new love comes in the door, I feel like there's an old love that also returns. I feel like how you're going to know whether this old love, because I know some of you are like, this is what I want, this is what I want. Okay, then what I would say is take it slow. Let them, if they come in and they say, I have evolved, I have seen my ways, because I do feel like there will be communication, but I feel like very quickly through that communication and also your ability to feel energy now, you'll know. very quickly. If this, I feel like this person brings chaos into your life. And I do feel like you love this person. Otherwise, the Three of Swords wouldn't be here. But we can't deny also the energy they carry. I feel like for some of you, you are learning about love as a soul. And I feel like there, again, is all different types of love, starting at low vibrational love, the whole way up to high vibrational love. So I just wouldn't be surprised because I do feel like sometimes this type of person, though they don't care whether our heart is broken or not, it's like, but they don't want us to be with anyone else either. It's like we are their property, but we're not. That's the thing. We're not. I'm not your property. I never was. That's your illusion, not you, them. Okay, I'm going to go underneath this. So, first and foremost, I feel like there's a lot of good news here. I feel like energy is changing, like planetary wise, that is really going to, feels like it's going to have your back. It's going to be very good for you. I feel like there's so much growth within you and yourself. Some of you may still be like on that hinge of, do I let this go or do I not? I can't answer that for you. Neither can divine. That has to come from you. Though I do see that tower. All right. The Seven of Wands. Standing your ground. Defending off attacks. Putting out other people's fires. Three sevens in a row. The Eight of Pentacles. Well, I kind of love the Eight of Pentacles mirroring the Emperor. Because for some of you, I feel like this is talking about money. But let's just say a craft. When I think of the Emperor, I think of the master teacher. But I didn't become the master teacher overnight, right? I went through a lot of hell. I've had a lot of different experiences, but each one has taught me something. And this is how this person becomes the leader. The emperor is compassionate and empathetic. And I know that's not going to be for everyone. Because for some of you, I don't feel that. For some of you, I feel like it's a father figure where you may have followed like those footsteps. But that's one thing. So the Eight of Pentacles ask you um, to be willing to go into something as the apprentice, knowing that one day you will be the master teacher. Well, the master teacher is showing, not only is it showing, but it's mirroring it. So the Eight of Pentacles, it tells you wherever you put your focus is what you will grow. If you're interested in growing your finances, trust your abilities. And I often feel in the Eight of Pentacles, I don't need to know everything before I begin. A lot of times in the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like you're learning as you go and you're growing as you go. Ultimately, this person is going to reach the Nine of Pentacles, which is independent success. It is another eight, though. You have a lot of eights. We have the Page of Wands, my little risk taker. Here's the Emperor. Oh, okay. And then the Three of Cups. Interesting. It makes me feel like there's someone over here who drinks too much. And therefore, and when they drink, I kind of feel like they act like fools or maybe become mean. I feel like what I was feeling in the beginning were some maybe, again, it's not that I'm putting down your father because I'm saying the same thing about my father, and he really was my hero. Um, I mean, my mom and dad split up when I was 13, which I remember that day because my dad left, and I was like, "Take me with you." And he said no, and it broke my heart, but I have forgiven him. So I don't love that. I just don't love that. And I don't feel much change with that. I know some people say, like, why do you always, like, why can't you say that they can evolve? Well, they can evolve, but it's not showing that. It's showing the opposite. So, this page of wands coming under this knight of wands, where I feel like this is who is following this cup that's coming in. And by the way, with temperance right above it, she's been busy up here mixing those loving waters. Well, now she's actually in the spread, and here's that cup, followed by a lot of passion in the Knight of Wands and passion in the Ace of Wands. So I feel like this is like taking a chance. What I feel with the Page of Wands, something I feel very proud of. And I'm not even thinking of the sign because I do feel like this is you. I feel like this represents taking chances in life and knowing that not all of them are going to pay off, but I get back up again. I get back up again. And this page's back is to this energy. So I feel like we're saying bye bye. Adios. All right. Um, I really don't think there's anything I need to clarify. Let's just come up and look at temperance with this cup coming in. And let's see what wants to come out. I'm not even going to think anything. Unexpected cup of fulfillment, unexpected cup of love, Ten of Wands. Kind of feels like a lifesaver. It feels like someone who's helping to take burdens off your shoulders. Someone who feels like it's going to make your life a lot easier. It's like you're looking right at this knight. And this knight's job is to bring you this cup. And it's coming from temperance, which is divine. So I feel like this energy is really to help. I want to use the word soften your life. Like I feel whatever burdens you've been carrying around, I feel like they're going to just go away. Okay. Well, let's come up and look at the other temperance. Don't forget, you're right in the middle there. And yes, lovers is a heart over head decision. I see that all over the board. but I also feel it is undeniable chemistry. So, you know, again, the Emperor's back is to the Lovers. The Emperor is now down here. Okay. So now we're looking at Temperance, moving into that tower. We have the Magician. And look at this. And you walking away with emotional clarity. Here we have the Eight of Cups. I'm still in that energy. I'm still releasing. But here, you're literally walking away from it. This is you with emotional clarity. Enough emotional clarity. You don't need to know why every single cup has been knocked over. Some was just free will. But look at the Magician. Look at the power of the Magician. And you heading towards inner harmony. First of all, the Magician is a reminder of the powers that you possess. It has this beautiful infinity number. You can't miss it. Infinity sign. The Magician is the Fool's first mentor along any new journey. And the Magician teaches the Fool you already possess everything you need to truly be successful. It is the power you have to manifest the type of life that you want. You know, the one thing I want to say is when you watch a reading or just think about your life, you are the writer of your book. How do you want it to look? And of course, there's going to be highs and lows. Otherwise, the story would be boring, right? If it was all just like, oh, we met at 16, fell in love, got married, had a beautiful family. Everything always went right. Nothing ever went wrong. Well, how long are we going to read that book? We want to know about these twists and turns and how did they overcome it and this new love story, how did it open up? This is your book. This is your movie. And you are the creator of it. This is a perfect reminder of us working hand in hand with divine. You're moving on. Energy is changing. You are finding your power. You're believing in yourself more and more every day. Yes, there could be someone of the past who does show. I'm not going to tell you whether you should say yes or no. That's got to be your choice. But I feel like what Divine brought out is kind of making it clear that there doesn't seem to be any growth. But if you just cannot, like if you have to give it a try, then I'd go slow because I feel very quickly you would recognize that nothing really has changed, which will ultimately put you right back in that Three of Swords. Now, this Knight of Cups, this unexpected cup of fulfillment that's coming under Temperance, that is a higher vibrational love. So that tells me that somewhere along the road, you're raising your own vibration. You're letting go. You're clearing. You're deciding what's going to be my next 9-year cycles. You're making those decisions. I want to say right here, right now. Okay. Let's bring in the clarifying love situations. Liberated path. Embrace freedom as you break through, taking steps towards your true potential. There's a message on either side depending on which way it comes out. This is your message. Liberated path. Embrace freedom as you break through, taking steps towards your true potential. Oh, okay. Awakened rebirth. Become conscious, stay aware, and embrace the renewal of your essence. Wow. And then soulful synergy. Vulnerability weaves hearts in a dance of harmony, unity, and flow. Soulful synergy. Wow. First, you on this liberated path, you becoming awakened, having this rebirth, and then this soulful synergy. Well, we know what we know what Temperance has been up to. So I know what that means, which makes me then want to bring out the romance angels. I wasn't going to. Um, Only if I felt like we really needed them. Well, not need them, but see, what they have to say. An awakened rebirth. Engagement. Oh my. Engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Gemini. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Why? You. You liberated yourself. You're awakening to truth and all that can be. You're not putting limits. Temperance, when it talks about love, that's one thing you can trust in. When Temperance says that your love life is ascending to higher levels of commitment, wow, that makes perfect sense here. As you evolve, so does your life evolve. Doesn't mean that nothing negative will ever show, but you know how to handle it now. You're liberated. You are awakened. You are soulful. And there's two who are coming together in what feels like this beautiful dance of love. I may even call your reading that this beautiful dance of love. Hard and then unbelievably good. 'Tis life, right? 'Tis life. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. As I do these readings, I understand why many of you felt like you needed like a special little reading. I say little, they're not little, or short. Um, yeah, I'm not going to overtalk here because I feel like Temperance and Mother Mary were perfect bringing you the messages. So I'm going to let that be. And I'm just going to say, I love you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Welcome to anyone who's new. Welcome to our beautiful soul family. And of course, my gratitude always for those who have been with me on this journey. And real quick, I do want to let you know about the membership program I started. I already have one, which is a simple thank you, Sandy. That's level 1. And then I have a level 2, and that is where we're going to go live and you can ask me questions. It's kind of like doing personal readings. I'm going to try to go live weekly, but I did put I hope I didn't put bi-weekly, bi-monthly. I know I'll do it at least twice a month. So there will be a lot of value behind this. And once I have 4 people in that program, then we're going to start. Then it's live time. Um, so, just know which one you're joining because there are 2 of them. One is like just a simple thank you. I think it's like a $4.99 donation. But the other one is so we as members can go live. And I'm telling you, I've had this membership before. When my channel got hacked, it did delete it, but we became so close, and I know that's going to happen again. I also want to say though, for those who can't join a membership, maybe you just don't have the money, whatever it may be, I'm still going to go live here and there for everyone. Um, but I miss that membership program a lot. I miss that closeness, though I feel so close to all of you anyway. But it really is different. So, anyways, I have that. I do want to remind you also about the color off with Sam's son, Justin, who started a beautiful company called Happy Home. I did a short video. He does coloring books, and he's doing what's called a color off. And I think the last day to enter is May 31st. All you have to do is when you purchase one of his coloring books, and there's a great one for Easter, um, is, and this is not just for kids. There's going to be advanced, intermediate, and beginners. But all you have to do is snap a picture of your art, like of the finished page, and then if you do review the book, you can upload it right there. And that's how, and there are going to be prizes. Um, so, it doesn't cost you anything to enter. It's just the cost of the book, but they're like $6.99. So I thank all you who have helped support Justin. When you help support people I love, it just makes me realize how much you love me and how much I love you. And I really mean that. So, okay, let's let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time on the channel or at our table. And a reminder, I will link your April reading under the comment section. So, it'll be a link. You can just click it if you choose to watch it. Or if maybe you've already watched it. Sometimes watching again, you hear different messages. I know some people don't believe me until you do it. Because I feel like the first time we watch a reading, we're really listening with our human ears. But then we go back and we have our spiritual ears on and we hear it really in a different way, or we receive messages that maybe we missed the first time. I leave that up to you. I'm not telling you to do that, but I do know, especially in personal readings, I always say that in a personal reading, make sure you watch it at least twice because you will continue to receive messages. In a personal reading, I tell them it's good to 6 months up to a year. And as things evolve, watch your reading again. I say this because I've had so many people tell me that as they rewatch their personal reading, they do receive these signs, like new signs. But I feel like that's how spirit works. When you're ready to hear it, when your ears are open, you're going to hear it. So, anyways, I'm going to let that be. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.